here. Sit. Come here. Sit. Sit.
Good dog.
Good boy.
Oh,
Sorry.
shake.
Oh,
Shake.
good boy. Okay.
Nice.
Sorry.
Hey, welcome back to D-Loney V8 Motorsports and Burns Brothers Performance. We're back here and we're working on something we don't usually work on. George's own car.
Yeah.
So we got the elCamino here. We're going to talk about suspension.
Yeah. This project's kind of actually Dave's fault.
Nice. Influencer. It's an influencer.
Yeah, right. He didn't know it, but he ordered some wrong parts for the Buick. He was ill-advised by the tech guy on the other end of the phone.
Yeah.
So some of the parts that he got in were wrong. Well, they just happened to fit the elCamino. So I said, well, instead of sending them back, I'll just buy them off you. So here we are. We're doing upper and lower bushings on these control arms. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to take you through this. We'll show you close-ups. George is going to talk about all the upgrades. It's more than just suspension. There's other stuff going on here today, so stay tuned. But first, Sunday Fun Day here at Burns Brothers Performance.
It's our buddy Brett's favorite day.
Staying hydrated. All right, watch to the end. All right, well, George is going to take us through some of these upgrades, and we were just talking about these parts. So this was a car originally built for his dad. His dad drove this thing for a couple of years. Around 2011, it was assembled.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, around 2011 is when we put this all together, and at the time everything was brand new. So yeah, like I said, my buddy Dave ordered some wrong parts, and it have to be the lower control arm bushings, and these are actually a bearing, which is pretty trick. I'd actually never seen these before until Dave ordered them. So these will go in the lower control arms, and then they could get bolted tight. Before, I just had the bolts loose, and that's really not a good idea. So anyways, we'll get those in there, and then we can tighten them up.
So the ones in there were stock replacement.
Just stock rubber replacement ones.
Okay.
Yep.
And we'll clip a video in here.
Yeah.
Of the uppers anyway.
Right. Yeah, we actually we bought a whole kit from Performance Suspension Technology back then when we did it. So it was a whole kit, and it's all stock rubber stuff. And then for the uppers, we're going with Global West upper shafts. I did stick with the stock style. They're not offset because this car actually did have shims in the upper control arms. So we're just going to keep it that way. A lot of times, if your frame's all out of whack, and you have zero shims, you can get the offset shafts to correct that, but I didn't need to on this. And then, of course, the Global West upper bushings with the Dell inserts in them. And then as I was taking it apart, kind of a surprise to me, I found out the upper ball joints were actually wasted. So this thing actually, it's on its last leg here, so it's coming apart.
So let's talk about that. So 15 years since it's been replaced.
Yeah.
Maybe 300 passes.
300 to 400 maybe.
Couple hundred street miles.
Yeah, I figure it probably has, of all the times this car's gone to Roseburg for graffiti weekend, it might have maybe 1,000 miles on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all this stuff was bought from Performance Suspension Technology. I don't know the origin of it, if it was China or US or whatever. I don't know where they source their products from, but
yeah. And this thing, I mean, it doesn't just leave the line; it wheelies, right? It wheelies every time.
It's pretty much wheelied ever since we built it.
Yeah. So it's taken some abuse, but that's a good reminder, right? It's January, race season's coming up around here. Check those ball joints, folks.
For sure. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so it'll get all the ball joints as well. I got to get those ordered up. Kind of before the whole ball joint and bushing replacement project started, the whole reason for working on the car originally was I wanted to take the converter, send it in to JW and have them go through it, because this converter is actually built for the original combination that we put in this car, which was a 10-to-1 pump gas 454, and that's what they built that converter for, which worked great, and it's worked great up until this time. But I sent the specs to them, and I sent the pictures of the converter and all that stuff to them, and they said, yeah, we can work with that and make it a little bit better for you. So
yeah, and I got a shot of it, but there's the converter sitting right there. So, and this thing, when it was first put on the track, it was a low 11 car.
The first time we took it out, it ran a low 11.
Okay.
And then I tuned it to a high 10, and then before that engine expired, it was running mid 1060s.
Yeah.
So
it's been a really good converter, but definitely mismatched for what it's running now.
For sure. Yeah, they said there's something they could do with it. So
yeah.
So we'll get that into them, and they'll go through it. So
right on. And so now, just to review, so upper A arms are getting Global West, the Delalume bushings. These are the stock bushings in the upper A arms. They're pretty squeaky and tight, and then the ball joints were loose. And then the lowers are these All-Star Performance. There's a big one and a little one in the lower A arms. The lower A arms are obviously, they're stock, but they're heavier than the uppers. And so stock GM suspension geometry, I guess.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Anyway.
Yeah, and then the other small project I'm doing is, might remember from a previous video that I put bigger header tubes on this thing, and when I did that, they were actually hitting the inner fenders because they were trimmed out for the smaller headers. So I'm just going to do a little trimming on the inner fenders to clear the new header tubes that I put in there. But other than that, it's pretty much going to go back together the same way. I got a couple little maintenance items, a brake light switch that keeps failing me, and then a faulty door latch. So we're just going to spend a little time on this thing now that I have a little free time between projects. I'm going to do some stuff to this that it definitely needs it.
And just a review, so you got what you wanted. This thing ran a naturally aspirated 9, and you got your hand slapped. That's in another video. But you had put a few other, you'd made a few other changes suspension-wise. Ladder bars went away, right?
Yeah, I took the ladder bars off, and then I went to the double adjustable front shocks. I have double adjustables on the back, and one of them actually leaks, so I'm going to send that back to QA1 and see if they can get that fixed up for me. And I've actually had a few people ask me, they're like, well, why are you making all these changes to the car if it ran in the 9s and the car's not legal for the 9s? My thing is, in the summertime, in the heat of the summer, I want the car to be able to run a 10.0.
Yeah.
That's what we built the car for. I wanted to run a 10.0. So in August, September, early September, I want this car to run in the, really low 10s. So, and then in the fall and the spring, I can back it off a little bit. So.
Yeah, and this thing, so glass hood, which is not the lightweight glass hood, it's a bolt-on glass hood.
Yeah, it's double-sided.
Yeah, but it's full weight. Steel bumpers, all steel body panels. So it's got some Kirkies in there, so there's some lightning, but it's a heavy car.
Yeah, it weighs 3550, I believe.
Because you did shave some weight.
Yes, I took the heater out of it, and then I went from a stock style cast iron nose starter to MSD mini starter.
Right.
So that took about 50 pounds off the car.
Right on. Okay, well, cool. I'm looking forward to see what that converter does. I bet you can run this thing softer and still get your number.
Yeah, I hope so. And the plan is actually, since they have the heritage race at Woodburn, my plan is to put an ET Genie on this car to back it off to a 1060 for that class. And what I was hoping to do is utilize that ET Genie in the fall and the spring to back it off a little bit to keep it in the 10.0 range during those cooler months.
So just leave it on there.
Yes, exactly.
Right on.
So
cool. Well, if there's any ET Genie sponsors out there, this is a pretty nice car.
Yeah, those ET Genies are pretty sweet, but they're a little proud of them.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, for what they are, I think it's worth the price.
Nice piece of hardware.
Yeah, for sure.
So real quick, one thing we wanted to mention was serviceability on these new bushings. Both sets, they're different designs, but they both have grease zerks or grease fittings.
Yeah, they're actually greasable. So, and they actually, they call for special kind of grease. It's a synthetic grease on these, which is just your typical red grease. And then I'm sure these are the same, but yeah, they're greasable, and that way you could keep them lubed up and serviced and all that good stuff, along with your ball joints.
I was going to say they don't squeak. Yeah.
Well, I will mention they're not dry.
Oh, the ball joints?
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier when we were talking about them. They're actually, you know, they failed not because I didn't grease them. So,
right. It's not lack of maintenance. It's an abundance of wheelies and weight.
Correct. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks, George. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you.
Watch to the end for some buddy shots.
There you go.